Hey everybody, it's Lady Business. We're live right here on Periscope. I'm going to wait for some people to come on because I notice sometimes when I do some of the Periscopes, I usually like to get right in and get right to business. But I know that we have a lot of women that were telling me that they were going to join from some of the other groups. And I want to give people just maybe 30 seconds or so to get on. Right now I see we're at 5 people. So I'm going to try to wait till we get to around 20 people to go ahead and really get into this scope tonight. But what I want to do is you tell me where you are scoping in from. So let me know your city and your state. And if you are in business, then let me know that. And feel free to give me some hearts. And we could get this thing started a little bit faster if you invite all of your followers out as well. Now, Richmond, Virginia. Hey there, Darian Direct. I do want to let you know that I am also recording this in addition. So we have Grace Cakes, Greensboro, North Carolina. Hey, girl. And I'm recording this with my regular camera as well, just so I can make sure that we get a good, clear picture. And I want to do a couple more of these that are just more informational things, similar to how when I do the webinars. But at least by me doing it this way, this won't be too much content, but it'll give you enough. So plan on staying with me tonight for approximately 20 to 30 minutes because I want to give you plenty of great information out here tonight. Make sure you invite your followers and feel free to give me some hearts. So I'm going to wait just a few more seconds to get some more people on here. But in the meantime, just so that this way you know, I put some signs up in the back. We do have a meetup also that is called Beauties in Business. So if you go to meetup.com and do Beauties in Business, you can join that meetup online. And hey there, and you can let people know about your business. And we're going to be doing some meetups coming up shortly. So if you want to go on to meetup.com and go to Beauties in Business, you can join. And this way you'll be able to see some things that we're going to do live and in person. All right, so we're right now, we got some 6 people. I'm not sure if the connection is going out because Darian Direct, I see you joined a couple of times. Hey there, Naturally Blessed. Thank you for inviting your followers. Hey there, Handy Girl 74. Hopefully we'll have a couple more people join. So I was trying to wait till we got to around 20 people, but one of the things is I notice when I look at certain people's Periscopes, and this is nothing bad or nothing against anybody, but it's like they want to wait till 1 million people to get on. So what about the people that were watching you from the beginning? I like to give content and give you something immediate and something that you can use for your business and for your personal life and make it as immediate, actionable, all of that as possible. And so that's one of the things why I try not to just wait forever to get people on the line, because I feel like, number one, you can replay this for 24 hours. Number two, I want you to listen, but at the same time, it could be something that's going on as to why people don't join on. So this is something that I decided to do today, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I'll just give you an explanation. So we're really gonna jump in now. I'm in a group on Facebook, and it's called Black Women Promote for Free. This is one of the most engaging groups that I have ever been in on Facebook. And the reason is because I think that people genuinely want to support each other's businesses. I think that people genuinely want information. And what I've seen in that group is that there are people that are at varying degrees of their business. Some people really have no idea where to start. Some people are doing it as just a little side thing. Some people do it full time, and I can clearly tell the distinction between some people. So without kind of jumping on people and saying, well, I think you should do this, I feel like when I see comments or if I see something that alerts me to some things that I would tell my clients, or I would tell people in general, then I try to go ahead and give people topical information. So tonight, what happened was today I was posting and I saw a couple of people that put up their websites, and they had the name of their website .wix.com. Now, this is no slight to anybody, so I want you to understand that, because my website is with Wix. However, my website doesn't say Wix.com either. I've seen this with people that have the Weebly websites, that have any type of websites where they give you the domain name for free. And so what happens is, you can use that domain name so that this way people can get to your site, but professionally, that's not what you should be doing. It costs $10 or less for you to buy your domain name. Okay, so if you are in business, and this is for real, and this is something where you really want us to come to, you can afford to spend that $10 to invest in the name of your business. what can happen, and let me tell you why you want to do this. So that's what this whole thing is about tonight. Why you want to buy it is, number one, so that nobody else can have it. So let's say I have the name of your business out there. So let's just hypothetically, I'll use mine to not, throw anybody under the bus. So if I want ladybusiness.com and I hadn't bought ladybusiness.com, then what would have happened is I would have had ladybusiness.wix.com. Somebody could have came up and swooped in and got Lady Business because they know that that's what I want to name my business. Obviously, that's why I've listed it when you first start the website. So I saw some young ladies on there today and they had the name of their website .wix.com. So if I wanted to, and I want you to understand that people do this on a regular basis, it is a business where people just buy domain names. That's it. They buy domain names. And the reason they buy it is so that you can't have it. They buy it so that this way you will pay for it from them if you really want it. And then sometimes people just buy domain names because they think it's going to be a good idea. It could be something in pop culture, something where they feel like it's going to catch on, but they don't even want to use the domain name. Their goal is to hold the domain name so that this way somebody will want to come along and purchase that domain name from them. This is where the problem is. If somebody did that to you, you will not be able to get the name of your business. I have a problem with that because I think that you can afford to invest that $10 or less into getting the name of your business. This is my thing, and I had a friend that this happened to, and it was just one of the most heartbreaking things. She knew what she wanted to name her business. She's telling people that this is what the name of her business is, but what she didn't do was what I say. When you know what you want to name your business, or you think you want to name it, or if it's a product or something that you think you want, get your name on everything that you can. So if that's your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Pinterest, get that name, because this is the thing. If you decide that you don't want to use it, you can always get rid of it. You can always delete an account. But if you don't have it and somebody else gets that name, now you're sitting there devastated. Okay? And it is a difference between registering your name in the state that you're in as opposed to just having it online. You want your name because it's important to you, because that's how you build your brand. So if you come up with this great idea, let's even say if it's for an event, right? Go ahead and get that name if you feel like this is going to be something that is, okay, hold up. R.L. Carson says she's waiting for hers to free up in October. It's currently around $2,000. Wow. That's something that can happen too. Now, when it comes to something like that, a couple things that you can do. You can either change your name. I mean, that's a possibility. Or you can wait to see if the person will allow that to be available to you. So hers is Girls on Fire LLC. So if you wanted to just do girlsonfire.com, you can see if that's available. The Girls on Fire, A Girls on Fire. You can do a bunch of different things, and hopefully, you'll be able to get what you want. But at the end of the day, we want our name. To me, that's one of the most important things that you can have in business, is a good name and a good reputation. So now, let me throw in some good tidbits for you, because I know that's why you joined me tonight, right? You notice I don't normally do 9 o'clock at night Periscopes. I'm a morning person. This is like wind down time for me. But one of the things that I know is that sometimes you miss people because you're not on when those people are on. Hey, Betsy Cakes. Okay, she joined and followed me earlier. I know she's in the BWP group. All right, so let me just tell you a couple of other things. You want your name because you want to dominate in your industry. Oh, I'm sorry, I might be blurry. That's the thing about Periscope. You're really clear to yourself, but you might be a little bit blurry to other people. One thing I can say is, even if I look blurry, trust me, I still look good on this end. All right, I'm gonna give you that winning smile, and you'll also hopefully be able to hear me clearly, because I always try to speak really clearly. Thank you. The other thing is, so Betsy Cakes, thank you for saying that. I am recording this with my regular camera also, so I promise you a clear version of this will be available on YouTube and also on Lady Business. All right, great. So this is the thing. You buy that domain name because you want to dominate in your market. Now, it's a couple things that you can do. Let's say you already have your domain name, okay? And I'm going to just give you an example. I'll use myself. So I have ladybusiness.com. But because I do marketing and I do branding and I do social media, those are really the biggest 3 things that I do. If I wanted to do something where you kind of pull in the keywords and you kind of pull in that SEO, I could go ahead and buy Greensboro social media, Greensboro branding, Greensboro marketing, Greensboro teaching, Greensboro facilitating, Greensboro professor. I could buy a bunch of those different things and still have it direct to my website that I have now. Or I could create another site if I wanted to. Now, the reason you might want to do this, I saw in this group a lot of people that are in the wedding industry, because that was one of the other posts I put out today. Let's say, for instance, you are a wedding planner, right? When people go to search for you, what they do is they put in the city and state usually that they're looking for, and most of the times it's just the city, because if you live somewhere, you want people that are in that city usually. And then they put in the specific genre that they're looking for. So let's say if I'm a wedding planner and I'm here in Greensboro, I might want to buy Greensboro Wedding Planner, okay? Even though I may have a different name to my business. Let's say if I did wedding planning, I could still have ladybusiness.com. But if I were to buy Greensboro Wedding Planner, that would give me another higher rank. And that would draw people in who are looking for what? Wedding planners in Greensboro. Because people search based on those keywords. So inside of your website, you always want to have those keywords in your content, also in the description that you're putting out. But you might want to, this is just a tip, you might want to buy the domain that also makes sense for your particular industry in your particular city or state. So let's say if you're statewide, right, and you're going to do this, I could buy like NC social media, and that's just, you know, if it's available, because you do have to search and see if it's available. But the thing is, people are going to search for what they want and where they're looking for it. So if that makes sense to you, and you're in an industry that's very competitive, which most of us are in competitive industries, take that into consideration, because that's an easy way to differentiate yourself from your competition. If you say, this is where I live and this is what I do, boil it down to the bare minimum and go ahead and buy that domain name. Okay, she said, hey, new here. She'll catch the replay. Feel free to do that. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you can still hear me. If it's a little blurry, I'm going to say this one more time. We are recording the whole thing on another camera, so this way, simultaneously recording, it will be up on the website and up on YouTube. All right, so that's one reason why you may want to do it, so that this way you can also dominate in your market. Even if you already have a website and you already have a domain name, you may want to buy another one and direct it to the existing website that you have. Now, here's another reason. Are you job seeking? If you are looking for a job, people are going to search you. They're going to look for you. And so if you're job seeking, you may want to put your cover letter and your resume online. You don't have to do a big, gigantic, drawn-out website in order to do that. You can do one landing page, have your cover letter up there, your resume. What I would suggest if you're going to do that, you know, you may want to just have it in the regular website, but then also put a PDF so that the people can download it, and then this way they can have access to your resume. So for my job seekers, for my students, that may be something that you want to do. Buy your name. So like, let's say, for instance, and the reason I'm telling you this is because for the longest time, I've said I was going to buy my name, right? Now, it's not another Chesapeake Brown out there. I know that, right? It may be some people that think they are or that try to imitate it, but this is the only one. I assure you of that. But I said, okay, we're going to do this Periscope tonight, but boo-boo, you said you were going to buy your name years ago, right? Now, the reason you may want to buy your own name is because you're fabulous, okay? If you didn't know it, I'm here to tell you that you're fabulous, and your name is money, okay? With that being the case, if you get famous, right, you may want your name, because if somebody else bought your name, you would be devastated. So when we take this, for instance, I guarantee you every politician has their name.com. The reason you want to get that, again, is from what I said in the beginning, so nobody else can get it. Because now if somebody were to buy your name, your actual real, you know, government name, and use that and put up a website, let's say there's all kinds of craziness out there, right? Now that's attached to your name every time it comes up. Think about that. So even if, and especially for my people that are in business, even if you already have a regular website, you can still buy your name and make that a domain name, and you can either direct that to a site that you have that's existing, you can create a whole nother site, or one of my other favorite things to do is direct a website domain name to an existing social media account. So let's say, for instance, and this is for my people, if developing a website or designing it is too much for you at this point in time, use your Facebook page, because the content that you would put on the website, the updating, you know, all of that stuff, you can put most of that content. You can put your videos, your photos, all of the words you want to say, events and all of that stuff on your Facebook page. So if money is an issue, or you're not comfortable designing, or you don't have the exact site that you want yet, go ahead and buy that domain name and have the domain name direct to Facebook. So basically what you're doing is you're buying a name and you forward it right to your Facebook page. At least this way, now when people ask, do you have a website? Yes, because Facebook is a website. You know, I mean, honestly, it is. And at least this way, now on your business cards, you can go ahead and put whatever.com, and even though it directs to the Facebook page, all of the content that people need to find you and to be able to connect with you is right there in Facebook. You can have it direct to other places if you want to, but Facebook is going to probably be one of the most complete places that you can have a domain, you know, to direct to, and that you control very easily. Now, another reason why you might want to buy it. Let's say you're a graphic designer. Let's say you are an artist. You make things. If you're a maker, you may want to develop a portfolio. And so with that being the case, there are plenty of sites where you can, you know, put up your portfolio work, let people see some of the things that you've done. And you want to have a domain that goes to that as well. Now, in addition, let's say for my people, and so this is something that's important for my people that have websites on store places. Let's say you want to create an online store. So for instance, by S. Benson, when you go to, and this is one of my clients and friends, when you go to www.bysbenson.com, BYSBENSON, that is the name of the website. However, what it does is it directs you to her page on Etsy where you can buy all of her items, okay? Now, the reason you do that is because what Etsy is going to give you is www.etsy shop such and such, and the name of the shop and the name of the business and all of that. So instead of trying to send people to all of those little links and add in all of those words, you can shorten it by just buying the domain name and directing it right there. So for my people that have Big Cartel, you have Etsy, you have, you know, it's so many different ones. You have Store Envy. Whatever one you have, I want you to buy your domain name. Still keep that store up, but now you'll be able to transfer it because you can take that domain name wherever you want to. And so, for instance, I have one client. She has a store right now on Store Envy, and she's going to be transferring over to Etsy. So I told her it's no problem. You still have the domain name that you own. You know, leave the Store Envy up. It's not a problem to you. And then what we'll do is you buy that domain name and we'll direct it to the Etsy. So once you're ready for the Etsy to be up, it's a seamless process for the consumer. Maybe not as seamless for you because you got to do all the work behind the scenes, but right now, the domain name points to the Store Envy store, but she's going to change over to the Etsy. But if you give them that one name from the consumer, once you change it over and direct it to the Etsy, it doesn't matter to them what the old site was because they just need to get to you and they need to be able to contact you. And one of my favorite things that I tell people, make it as easy as possible for people to pay you, which means you have to have a website where if you have products to sell, they can get to. Make it easy for them. Don't give them all of this extra www.blase, put a slash, put a dash, right? Those things make a difference. Now, another thing to think about, whenever you're going to be actually making the website, try to put the name all together, right? Because putting dashes in there can complicate things and make it harder for people to find you. So take that into consideration when you're doing your domain name. Also, when you buy your domain name, what I want you to think about is how long you want to have it. Now, typically, you can just buy it for 1 year. But if you really plan on being in business, I would suggest for you to buy it for at least 2 to 5 years. Because it's nothing worse, and this has happened to me before, so I'm telling you this from experience. It's nothing worse than your domain expiring and then them wanting to charge you a gazillion dollars to get your domain name back. It's a terrible feeling, trust me. So then you have to make decisions on if you're going to try to buy it back for whatever price that the domain company wants to sell it to you for, or if you're going to say, all right, well, let me just change the name. And then you've already built up a brand, so don't do that to yourself. Another thing that you can do with most of the sites is do an auto renew, so that this way it'll automatically charge to whatever cards you've already set it up in, and then hopefully that won't be a problem, so that this way you can keep that domain and it will automatically, you know, charge your card, so that this way, you know, you don't run into the thing of letting it lapse. All right. Now, this is one other thing that I want to tell you. And so even for my people that already have your domain name, I want you to take into consideration, look and see who's your registered domain holder. If you have somebody else design your website for you and they do all the work for you in the background and they have their name listed as your registered domain holder, guess who is in charge of your site? I'll give you a minute. The person that's the registered domain holder. So just as an example, and so if you had somebody else design your site and you didn't buy the domain name yourself where your name is listed as the registered holder, that person or that company really is the ones that make the decision on where your website is directed at. So if you don't know, now is the time for you to go and check where did you buy the site name from and who the registered domain name holder is. Because I'm going to just give you an example, and I've seen this happen, and especially with like a Vistaprint or something. So be careful, all right? Buy your name and put it wherever you want it to go. But let's say you get the name from one of these other companies. They're usually listed as the registered domain holder. So when you want to take your site somewhere else, let's say you want to use a different platform, you might not be able to take that name. That's why it's important that you own your domain name, all right? So look at that and check it. And you can go in and you can check it depending on which site you use. I use GoDaddy to usually buy my domain names, and I'm always the registered user. But when I used to build sites for other people, I would always use their credit card information and their name and give them a login and a password that, you know, and send them the email so that this way they were responsible for that information. Because what if, you know, you don't deal with them or something happens later on, then you end up being the one that's responsible for that website. And I never wanted that to be the case. It's your site, so I put you down as the registered domain name holder. Now, I'm not creating websites anymore because, you know, it's a very tedious thing and I only manage mine now. But I want you to be concerned with that, because if you're not the registered domain holder, somebody else could take your site. They could shut it down. They could then, like, let's say they change it and put some old craziness on there, but then that's looking like your brand because that's where the website goes, and we do not want that. So if you don't know, or if you like that piece of information, I want you to give me some hearts. Make sure that you still invite your followers out, because we're going to wrap up soon, but I got some more things to tell you. All right, now, when you go to buy your domain name, what's typically going to happen is they're going to offer you the other extensions. You really need the .com, okay? Just get whatever it is, the name of your business, .com, okay? If they want to offer you .info, .me, .tv, .us, all of the rest of that, you can choose if you want to buy those other things. But this is my thing. If you're not going to use them, it's not really necessary for you to buy those other extensions. Now, I would put in like a little caveat to that, a slight addendum. If you are going to patent or trademark something, then you might want to get all of those extensions. For our average small business owner, it's not that big of a problem. So if you don't plan on patenting or trademarking something immediately, then I would say just buy your .com so that at least this way you have it. It does make a big difference. Now, there are other extensions that you can get. So if it makes sense for you, then, you know, you can buy those other extensions. If you do get them, let me give you some advice on that. Take the other extensions and use them, because now you got them sitting there. What I would say is maybe make your .info, make that go to your Facebook. Maybe your .net can go to your Twitter. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Or you can make separate sites, right? So let's say you got a blog that's sitting out somewhere on Blogger or WordPress or something that's not attached to your website. Then make that whatever your business is, .net, .info, whatever you want to do it. Or your .org, however it works for you. But get your .com. Get your name, okay, your government name, and decide on if you want to put your middle initial in, because what I decided to do was to do Chisa Penix Brown. Now, I usually use the D, which is my middle initial, when I'm writing stuff, but I just figured, okay, let's just make it easy, because a lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to the D in the middle. The other thing that I considered was everything of mine right now says Chisa Penix Brown forward, well, MBA. Now, I'll still have my MBA, but what if I get my doctorate? Then I'm stuck with MBA. So if you know that you plan on getting more education, or you plan on changing your title, then I would definitely say to be considerate. Consider what you need to do. So just at least make sure you have your name. Now, let's say we have a person that's a CPA, right? You might want to get your name CPA.com. Okay, that may make sense for you. You're still going to be an accountant, right? If you have any other monikers that you want to put on there, that might be good for you. So consider that. Consider making sure that you dominate in your market. So I would say, even if you already have a website, you might want to get whatever the name of your city is and put down the genre. So the example I gave earlier is, let's say, Greensboro marketing. Marketer, and take those things into consideration, because that's what people are looking for. If you're a wedding planner, you might want to say Albuquerque wedding planner, because people want to go there. One other thing that you can take into consideration, if you start to make a domain name and you see that people are coming to you for certain resources, you may want to put those resources on your site. So I want you to think about this. People love people that give information freely. And I don't have a problem doing that. Obviously, that's why I'm here. So one thing that I want everybody to consider, especially if they already have a website, is to put content on your website that gives information, whether it's about your particular industry that you're in, or whether it's about the services. You may want to consider putting an FAQ, frequently asked questions, on your website, because people always ask you those certain types of things. If you can be as helpful as possible to your potential customers, what it does is it pretty much makes you an authority in your field. It gives people the impression that, wow, you actually took the time to think about what I would think to ask you. And in addition to that, what it does is hopefully it cuts down on phone calls and emails that you may have back and forth with customers. So that's just something to think about, whether you're designing a website, you have one already, is to give content to people. All right? Think about that. Now, one other thing that you may want to consider, where you can look at, she says, I added my Paperly until I can get my blog up. Yeah, and that's wonderful. That's definitely a great thing, because once you get your blog up, then you can always take that and you can also embed that in your blog. And so let me just explain for you what Rhonda was talking about. So Paperly, so now y'all about to get some extra information. And see, she's came to some of my classes, so she knows about some extra things. But it's Paper, Paper.li. Paperly is an online resource that you can use, so that this way you can have content automatically posted for you on a daily basis, or you can set it up if you want to do it weekly or monthly. So if you need another content source, you may want to do that. You name the paper, it comes out every day if you schedule it like that, and in this way people can subscribe to it. So it's another way for you to choose content, put that in, and let people get information. And so if you're not needing to or wanting to create your own content on a daily basis, this will do it for you once you select the sources. And so that's definitely a great resource that you can put on your website. Now, the final thing I want to let you know is to take into consideration that you can find out if there are websites that are already up, especially if it's something that you were thinking about. Go to whois.net, whois.net. You can find out who the owner of the domain names are. So even if you don't know for yourself, this is a way for you to find out who the domain name is registered to. And if you want to buy a domain name from somebody, you can find out who has it there, and then you can, check that out. So that's just another resource that you can use, and that's whois.net. 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 That's where you can find out who your domain name is registered to. So if you're in that situation, like I said, where you bought a site name from somebody else, like a Vistaprint or whoever, and they had the name because they gave you this wonderful little package, I want you to take into consideration that package sometimes is to keep you on there, to keep them getting money, and so that you don't transfer your website out. So check to see who your registered domain holder is, because that can make a big difference. And if you go to whois.net, whois.net, that's one place for you to find it out. So I hope that this has been really great for you guys. I had a good time telling you about all of this stuff, and I hope that if the connection, because I just had somebody say the connection was bad. If the connection was bad, I am going to be uploading this to my Facebook, which is facebook.com/Lady Bizness Inc. So LadyBizness. That's my Facebook page, and you're more than welcome to go there, and I put constant information out there. So if you're looking for other things in business, marketing, social media, events that are going on, because all